Ye Raj.
Hey, what's
What's
going
going
on?
on, everyone?
What up? What up? Hopefully everybody's doing good today. It's a little rainy over here in Atlanta, but a perfect day to go live and talk about uh, an overarching theme that we're, going to be driving home these next few lives and even probably longer than that, leading up into our 5-day challenge. So just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, the overarching thing we're talking about today and into the future is called Knowing is Cool, Application is Key. And I can't take credit for that. That
Ooh.
came from the main man, Mr. WTF, right here.
I like to play with those words, man, and things just pop up in my head all the time, bro. It ain't me, it's God, so don't give me the credit. I'll take
Absolutely.
it. I'll take a little bit, but give him the most.
All praises to the Most High God. Absolutely, for sure,
Yes,
for sure.
yes, yes. You, and to piggyback on what you stated, man, it's so critical because even in our mentorship, meaning P2P, we see a lot of great people struggling and they don't know why they're struggling. And the same thing with parents with these teenagers. They don't get why they're struggling. And because they have all the knowledge, everybody has the knowledge. Let's get that out front first. It's all right here. All the knowledge you need is right here. But that's just cool. What you gonna do with it?
Mm.
Like it's
Whew.
the application of it. You gonna buy a Lambo to sit it in the garage and show everybody, look at my Lambo, but you ain't gonna drive it. Come on, y'all. Then what's the point? You paying all this insurance and
Absolutely.
this money for this vehicle, and you ain't even gonna drive it. So and some of us get overwhelmed with knowledge, bro. Like a lot of people who struggle with this, they get knowledge overload,
Hmm.
and they know so much about so many different things that's why we focus on finding your niche. Once you find your niche and you know this is what I'm great at, this is my purpose, this is my niche, then we can go from there. But trying to
Hmm.
wear 20 different hats, man,
Yeah.
that,
Being the
that,
jack of all
that
trades and the
yeah,
master of none, man. That's the
man.
key to that. Yeah, and yeah, it's all about mastery, and that's one powerful benefit of being focused in and being niche down into one specific category, and even drilling down even more specifically into that category. So for today's video, we're going to be diving into a few steps for parents. Yes, parents to really take advantage of and to really hopefully taking some notes on so that you can be able to help to motivate your teen, son in particular, to take control of his future, his present, and to begin adulting, what we call adulting, being a
Mm.
responsible adult going into the future. And I'm just going to go over these three topics and then we can kind of go more into depth in each one. So, topic number one is all about goal setting and planning and encouraging your son to do so.
Mm,
Number
mm,
two is
mm.
about fostering independence and responsibility. Whew, that's powerful right there.
Woo.
And last but not least is all about cultivating a growth mindset and resilience. So, goal
Man, we
setting,
need to put them in the chat, bro.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for
we let's
sure.
put them in the chat for the people joining late.
All
Oh, you
right.
just said so much. My brain just exploded, man. Like, all of
So,
these things. And we can all be better parents, as we stated. If you're waiting to have children or if you have them, if you have teenagers, you can have some adults. Principles still apply to you all. They're not biased at all.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So if just like diving into the first one, like, okay, so how do you encourage goal setting, right? You first of all, you have to identify what your child's, your son's goals and aspirations for the future are. I'm not sure what your particular relationship is with your child, but sometimes, the generational gap tends to widen as the child gets older and the parent gets older, and there tends to be some type of friction there. And parents tend not to want to communicate once the child gets to a certain age because they may have gotten some resistance somewhere down the line, and that lack of communication tends to have a knowledge gap of what the parent knows about their child's goals and aspirations. So always, be open to communicating with your teen so that you can understand what they enjoy doing, what their strengths are, and that way you can kind of tailor, your discussions with your teen
Mm.
accordingly.
Man, you just talked about chapter one of the WTF adulting book. It's called brainstorming, you all. You can have fun with this with your team, but you can't be biased and say, I don't like this, I don't like that. Everything is good, everything hits the wall. All during the brainstorming, just anything that they could possibly think of wanting to do. And you need to do this with yourself too, because you need to figure out, what do you want to do? What is your purpose? What are you good at? The best way to do that is to do a brainstorming session and have fun. Come up with goofy things and just silly things, and just use your imagination and have fun with it, especially with your team, with your spouses. This works for everybody, you all, because then you'll see, okay, there's normally a pattern here of things that I want to do and things that I'm good at. And as you put that pattern together, then you can niche it down to a couple of things. And once you have that picture, then we can jump into goal setting. Because now, based on that data that we just collected during the brainstorming session, now we can prioritize that and really dig into it. And now we got it. Let's set some goals. And we even have a process on how to set the goals. It's a 5-step process, but I don't want to jump the gun. I might be giving them too much. Dimitri, shut me up if I am.
No, no, hey, listen, this is all about providing value. And I
No
was
doubt.
trying to type in the the list of what we're talking about, but I don't think I can. I'm not the host, so it just lets me do it
Uh,
in the private chat. But I'll keep the ball rolling. Hopefully, you can get it in there. So yeah, all
I'll
about.
put it in there as we talk. Planning
Okay,
is
sounds
first.
good. Absolutely. So yeah. Secondly, within that goal setting category, it's all about encouraging your child to think about interests and strengths and values. Sometimes people tend to, especially in the generation of social media where everything is public and people tend to get quote unquote canceled. People, especially young adults and teens, tend not to embrace who they are. They tend to want to kind of fit in, and that was pretty much throughout time. Really, is people really don't change much, but things are becoming more visible and out in the open now. So people now more than ever, young adults now more than ever, are not really embracing who they are in their strengths, and they kind of want to blend in with the crowd and what the cool and hip thing is. So it's very important, you as their parent, you as their first really person who is really instilling all of those values within them, to actually push them to lean into who they are as a person, lean into their interests, their strengths, and their values. That's so important to do.
Without a doubt, man. I'm putting this in the chat right now. So
Okay.
he gave you the nice side of things. Let me get in some of you parents is behind, because I was that parent that was judging my kids based on what I've been through, what I've accomplished, and looking at this generation of Zoomers. They do not have our work ethic. They do not have our grit. They just don't have it. Why? I'll answer that. Because we as parents made sure they didn't have to have it. And now we criticize them for it. So they don't feel encouraged to even talk to you about what they want to do, because you constantly compare yourself to them. And we as parents got to get better at that, because there is no comparison. We grew up, I'm speaking for the Xers that don't know about, they skip my whole generation. They go from the boomers to the millennials to the zoomers. Like, what happened to
Mm,
the Gen X's? They forget about us. But anyway, my generation, we made sure that our kids were good. So now we as parents need to pivot and say, okay, let's stop comparing them to us and how we was raised. And when back in my day, bro, you know how it goes, man. We
yeah.
all have done it. I still catch myself doing it sometimes, but I try not to, because we can't. There is no comparison. We're all unique. Every generation is unique. And if you truly want to see your child be successful, then you'll pivot and you'll adjust as a parent and say, okay, what can I do to reach this individual, and encourage them to dare and do wondrous things. Because right now they're just blending in and fitting in because they don't have a clue about what they want to do. And even if they did, we chop them down for it. That's dumb. That's stupid. You're on your game. You're on social media. We as parents, we gotta stop this bullying, y'all, because we do this and we don't even realize that we're bullying our kids. And again, I can speak on that because I was that guy for a while. So that encouragement is and the independence and responsibilities. Like we got to show them all these different things instead of just showing them that I just work 50 hours a week and we live check to check because they're not gonna want to follow that anyway.
Whew, that's powerful. Yeah, we definitely lead by example, whether we realize it or not. Yeah, and just the last point for goal setting. One very important point to really drive home in goal setting is that you want to break down any plans that you have into two buckets: short term and long term. Short term, to keep it simple, is anything that's less than 12 months. Long term is anything longer than 12 months. And always break down, like, have a big vision for your plans, for your long term goals, but be sure to reverse engineer that and break them down into bite-sized pieces. So I'm not sure if you wanted to comment on that. I know for the sake of time, we want to keep it moving. So,
Hey, no, I do want to comment on that because
okay.
a lot of with these they have short attention spans. You all, they grew up with the internet, instant. Everything is instant, quick, quick, quick. So if you drop a 10-year plan in front of one of these teens,
Yeah.
they don't want to hear none of that. It's like
Yeah.
this 5, 10-year planning that we used to do because we could predict the market for all of that time. You can't predict anything because with IT, especially with AI, is popping so fast.
Yeah.
So as Dimitri stated, you can have a long-term goal, 2, 3 year goal. I agree with that. But you got to have those short tidbits, those short chunks, those short wins that they can have. And something real simple is establishing a social media presence for your business, setting up an LLC. These are little bitty wins that will get them to where they want to go. So don't just think long term with your goal setting. Get some short ones in place. I mean, it might be even a week long goal, something that you can do,
Hmm.
but give them little bitty bits and pieces because as you encourage them, step number 2, they're going to constantly walk into this because they're truly lying and ready to go. But let me be
Amen.
quiet.
Hey,
Dimitri
that's
trying to
what's up.
run.
No. Hey man, like we got some good gems that we gotta drop, man. We only got a few
Right,
minutes
right,
left.
right.
So
I
all right,
know.
so all right, so number two, foster independence and responsibility. So the first point that I want to make in that is provide opportunities for your team to take on additional responsibilities and really just make decisions. Um,
Mm,
I can attest to this. I'm not a parent of a teen yet. However, when I'm coaching and having meetings with my team each morning, I give them assignments, I give them tasks to really do on their own and just take on that full responsibility. I give them general outlines of what to do, what the results need to be, and kind of where to look. And I'm here to answer questions if they do have any. But the
right.
main objective is for them to be autonomous, critical thinking individuals and to really lean on their own knowledge base and skill set and actually go out and find the answer. Like we all have a computer in our pocket, so there's
Yes,
no excuse not to be able to at least find the path to the correct answer. So yeah.
absolutely, man. They just need a little guidance. That's
Hmm.
all. They don't need us telling them what to do, telling them how to do it. Like we're already old to them
Yeah.
anyway. So, and they're used to their teachers and everybody else that's our age telling them what to do. And they get discouraged from that. I mean, let's be honest, what adult wants to be told what to do? Most don't.
Right.
So these people, these young men, these young folks are becoming adults. So the last thing they want is mom and dad telling them what to do. And so, as Dimitri stated, we foster that here where we ask them to tell us what to do. Like
Hmm.
we bring them on to tell us what to do. Right now, we have a 17-year-old and a is he 17? Yeah, he just turned 17. a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old that are doing things that me and Dimitri will still be struggling trying to do.
Man,
And
what?
all we did was give them the project, give them the goal, and say this is what we want. So tell us how, and they got it right here. You all, they can figure it out. Like we're underestimating them. Like these Zoomers are brilliant. I'm so happy about our future because they're great. They just need a little guidance and every now and then a little nudge, but they need more encouragement than anything. And
Mhm.
they already have the independence in them right now. So we just gotta bring, take some minor adjustments, some little guidance, and let them run. Like go, make my life easier.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, and also it's important to not only provide the opportunities for them to take on responsibility, but encourage them to take charge of vital tasks that adults have to do on a daily basis, like managing their finances, organizing their schedule, and actually taking care of the personal stuff, like actually being responsible for their own things. And
Mm,
really, that really comes down the majority of the way on the parents, because the parents, if you're not financially responsible, you can't really encourage your child to be something that you're not. If
right.
you're not organized, if all of your scheduling is out of whack and you're always late, running late for stuff, what do you think your child is more than likely going to be? So you must be an example that you're trying to portray onto your team. So you can't be a hypocrite, basically.
Or or if you're not that example, we are. So you can bring your child right over here and we'll get them right and really show them how to build this credit. And for the parents out there that are watching this, and please share this with any other parent. Here's some hacks. These are some things you're gonna want to write down that will encourage these teenagers to say, "Wow, you know, I'm on point." Put them on your credit cards, unless you maxed out. Don't put them on it if they. But put them down as an authorized user. You can do this at the age of 16. So they can be building up credit while they're in high school and they don't even have to have the card, but you can help them build credit. That's one thing. But if you have a business and you have an LLC or whatever business that you have, put your children on your payroll. You can literally create a business just for your family and put them on a payroll and pay them their chore money through the business. Like it's so many ways we could do things to encourage these young people that we're not tapping into as parents, you all. And that's why we're here. Because while we're gonna be helping these young teens transition into entrepreneurs or wherever they want to go, we're also gonna be helping the parents to understand where they're going. And the parents will have things that they can do also to assist with the teens moving forward. So this is a family thing, you all. This isn't just us pulling your kids and now you're not involved. We reach out to you too because everybody needs to work together for this to even work. But all right, let me be
Absolutely. Yeah, it
quiet.
definitely takes a village, and
Yeah.
yeah, those are definitely great points. And these are just like surface level topics
Mm-hmm.
that we're covering in these lives, y'all. Just imagine how in depth we go in our weekly meetings, which are an hour apiece. So
Yes.
it gets really, really fruitful discussions going on, and we get a lot of questions answered personally for the mentees that are in our community for sure. All right, so
Absolutely.
yep, and last but not least, we have cultivate a growth mindset and build resilience. This is crucial. There's two types of mindset. There's a growth mindset and there's a fixed mindset. So we're not going to talk about the fixed mindset today, but the growth mindset is pretty much the opposite of fixed. So you can figure out what fixed means or look it up later. So growth mindset is basically a is when you emphasize the belief, or you believe that your abilities and your intelligence can be developed through effort and learning, right? So the fixed mindset person believes that, oh, my mindset, I was born like this, I can't learn anything new, I can acquire new skills. But the growth mindset person knows that their brain is malleable, it can be molded, it can stretch, it can grow, and that is the key cornerstone to having the application is key part to this. Knowledge is cool, application is
Ooh.
key. That growth mindset allows you to unlock your mind to be able to apply everything that you've learned, to be able to compound that knowledge and become a better version of yourself.
Oh man. And you know what? That mindset piece, that growth mindset is so critical in everything that we do. So it doesn't matter what your business, what your passion, what your desire is. The mindset, the growth mindset is it. You can have the mindset that, as Dimitri stated, I've been through all this. I was abused as a child, so I ain't gonna do nothing with my life. I came from poverty, so I'm gonna remain in poverty. Um, I don't have an education, so I'm gonna do like if you have that lack mindset, then yeah, there's not a lot we can do with you. I'm just being frank. If you feel that way and you've accepted that in your life, then yeah, good luck. But those that know there's something greater than your situation and your circumstances, those are the ones we want to work with because you got to have a desire for something. And even if you are one of those that are, so down and out and depressed, I would love to have a conversation with this individual because after I finish talking to them, if they don't believe in themselves, then yeah, I did my best. What can I say? But in the WTF, oh, we got lions. We're raising lions over here. Like these ain't no kitty cats. We putting them through some things too because we do want to cultivate that growth mindset and to be resilient because everything ain't gonna go as according to plan. And you got to be willing to pivot and get ready to, okay, shake it off, keep on going. People,
Hmm.
I heard this phrase today. I love it. I know we're almost out of time, but I was told today that while life be lifing, God be God.
Mm,
Every time somebody say life
mm,
be lifing, I'm going to respond with,
yep.
but God be God.
Hmm.
But what are you focused on? And
Hmm.
that's some of it. I mean, like we teach these young people a lot of little tricks of the trade, a lot of little tricks to get this thing together, a lot of little tricks to know who they are and whose they are. We have daily habits and a lot of things that we have them apply on a daily basis to build up this morale and to build up this encouragement and this independence and realize that they are great
Hmm.
and they're going to do great things. They're going to do far greater things than any millennials or Gen X's or baby boomers. They're going to do things even greater than that. And we just have to encourage them with that. And that mindset that's what we work on first and foremost is getting that mind, like they say, brainwash. That filthy thing needs some cleaning. So, but
Yeah, yeah, yep.
yeah, man.
Yes, sir. So yeah, and more on to what you had mentioned earlier about, life doesn't always go as we plan it to, no matter how positive our mindset is, no matter how growth focused our mindset is, life is gonna have its days on us and it's going to feel like we're taking loss after loss after loss, day after day after day. But one key thing about having a growth mindset is you're able to flip any negative any negative event or mindset or thought that you have into a positive one. So instead of thinking of taking a loss or taking an L in a negative way, we look at taking a loss as taking a lesson or learning lessons.
Mm.
And that's part of having that growth mindset. If you always think that, okay, I lost money in this particular deal, or I got screwed over by this person, they did me wrong. Yeah, it may seem like that on the surface, but you knew next time what not to do in that particular deal because you know what didn't work last time. You know what type of
Mm.
person to look for and to befriend in the future because you got screwed over by this type of person today. So it's all about how you frame your mind. It's all about
Absolutely.
growth. Absolutely. Hmm.
Hey man, like that part, those L's, like I said, Junior told me he took both those L's and made a W. Those are just lessons, you all. But here at the WTF, we got to prevent them from taking a lot of those L's
Yeah.
because we know what's coming. So as we examine the businesses and we examine what they want to do, then we can prep them for, okay, here's some things you need to prepare yourself for because we've been through it. And we have other coaches that have been through things too. So it's just a beautiful thing. We're about to, like Dimitri started with, we got a challenge coming up in a few weeks. You all, we're going to announce that. But we're challenging all the parents, all the adults to come in the room and share some things with us and allow us to bless you all and you all bless us because we're going to have some fun with this thing, you all. It's going to be exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just last but not least, before we close out on the cultivating a growth mindset and building resilience is, you must help your team, help them to develop coping mechanisms and strategies to deal with stress, like we said, setbacks or lessons, and help them to overcome obstacles. Many times, I know E has had experience with a lot of mental illness that he's had to deal with people that's close to him. And it's ever since social media had hit the scene, there's a lot of seems to be a lot of self comparing to unrealistic expectations, and that tends to cause stress, unneeded stress of the perception of what a person could be. But we all know that social media isn't real. There's filters everywhere. So people are comparing themselves
Right.
to perfection, which is something that we'll never be able to achieve in this life. So that in turn causes mental issues, and that's caused by stress, and the list goes on and on. So it's very important to set realistic expectations on your team about how life actually is into adulting, transitioning from being a teenager to being a responsible adult, and to really just keep them level headed so that they are not being too hard on themselves and really being their own worst enemy.
No doubt, man. But we're going to continue this conversation, you all. If you like these lives, let us know. If you don't, let us know that. But go out there and follow us. It's WTF Men's Academy. We're everywhere. IG, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Josh, again, is doing a great job with keeping that going, you all. But if you have questions, comments, DM me, DM Coach Dimitri. We're here to help. That's our purpose, and that's why we do this. So with that being stated, peace out, y'all.
Peace.